What is the main thing you would recommend people work on themselves, whether in transition of relationships or in a relationship? Is there one thing that they can always be working on to improve themselves, to be better for other relationships?
If their entire story about the relationship that just ended is about what the other person did wrong to them, something is missing in the story.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that the other person may not have done things that were hurtful to them. But add to it, who were you in this relationship?
Absolutely.
What role did you play? What did you see that you didn't want to pay attention to?
Mm-hmm.
What things do you wish you had done differently? What pieces do you wish that your partner had seen and accepted from you differently?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you wish you would have said less, and where did you wish you would have said more? What do you learn from this relationship? And if when you say what you learn is just that I want to make sure that the next person is...
right, gives me what I need.
Or is less of this or more of that, who do you want to be in the next relationship?
Yeah. How are you going to add value?
A relationship is a story of many people. It's not even a story just of two. Who was too involved in your relationship? Mm-hmm. Who was not involved enough? So there's a cast of characters in a relationship. And it's all those questions that you want to ask when you are in transition. What, I think that's it. I mean, you can, but they are both directions. If you find yourself with a spotlight only on the other person and you in a passive receptive stance, you're missing a whole pan of the story.
Yeah. And you're probably more of the problem of the relationship than them, if you're just focusing on them probably.
A relationship is not about this person and that person. The relationship is what happens in between. This is my view on relationships. It's not an essentialist view, this is this personality and that personality. It's the dynamic.
Right.
You can have a dynamic with a certain partner. You've had dynamics with certain partners. And of course, it was just the right fit between the match and the ignition. And so you had enough inside of you to react with a certain kind of, let's put your jealousy. Mm-hmm. But you may meet another person who acts differently, and you may still have a little bit of that jealousy inside of you, but it doesn't get activated because this person is responding very differently to you. And when you say, where were you? They don't say, why do you always have to ask me that question? Right. They just say, I just went to do this. It's all good, darling. Mm-hmm. I'm right here. I've got you back. And then you don't go into your chest pain. So this is very important to understand. We are not the same person with different partners. We may have certain things that come out depending on what is being sent over to us. So the relationship is a figure eight. It's what I do that makes you do something, that then makes you react to me a certain way, that then draws that out of me, that draws that out of you, and each one actually creates the other. Mm-hmm. And when you get that view of relationships, when you come out, you're in transition, you say to yourself, let's say I was with someone who completely disconnected. Okay, they disconnected. Did I push them away? Are there ways in which I contributed sometimes to the disconnection? And that is not self-blame. That is understanding the dynamic. You can take responsibility about things without blaming yourself. And you can hold the other person accountable without blaming them. It's not a blame dance, but it is an understanding of what did I do that made you do what you then did to me, then it made... Right. That's the relationship.
Yeah. And if someone's like, you know what, they're listening to you, Esther, they really want to have an amazing relationship. They want to have a rich life, knowing it's not going to be perfect, but they want to create beauty and adventure and play and go through life through the sadness and the adversities and all the things that happen in life. And they're thinking to themselves, how much should I pour into myself for my dreams, my health, my friends and family? How much should I pour into the other person, into their life that I'm creating a partnership with? And how much should I pour into the relationship itself? What would you say to that?
But you asked me, it's different questions, right? what keeps a relationship alive is one question. How much do you invest in a relationship is a different question. So I'm going to go to the one about what keeps it alive, because it's part of, and I'm suddenly watching the box and thinking, it is what I'm mostly interested in, because I work on eroticism. What keeps us alive? What keeps us hopeful? What keeps us engaged with possibility?
Not physically alive, but connected
Physically
alive.
Connected
Yes.
alive, life force, life energy. Why? Because I think everybody understands relationships that are not dead versus relationships that are alive. Teams that are not dead, companies versus companies that are alive. What is flourishing versus surviving? And because it is part of my personal history, and I come from a background of survivors, of parents who were in concentration camps, and I wanted to understand, how do people stay alive when they spend 5 years in a concentration camp? So that's why I got interested in eroticism. Sexuality is a piece of this, but sexuality is not eroticism. You can have sex every day and feel nothing. Eroticism is the poetry that accompanies it. It's the meaning we give to it.
Yes.
Right? It's the story that's attached. So eroticism in a relationship is the quality of imagination, curiosity, playfulness, mystery, risk-taking, novelty that people bring to their relationship. Those are the things that I think bring life to a relationship. So in the research of Eli Finkel, it means doing new things together, taking risks beyond your threshold, out of your comfort zone. Because if you do pleasant things that are familiar, it's cozy, it's friendship, it's love, but it's not exciting, it's not erotic, it's not necessarily desire. It's calibrating your expectations so that you have, and that means diversifying your intimate connections or your deep connections. Doesn't it? For me, intimacy doesn't mean sexual either. It just means people that are important to you, that accompany you through the life stages and through the big events in life. These three things, expectations, calibrating expectations, diversifying your social connections, and taking risks and doing new things, is the research of Eli Finkel for thriving relationships. But then in that piece, I think play is essential.
It's huge,
Playfulness, it's huge. And it is actually the quality of emotions that is the least talked about.
How often are you playing in your relationship?
All the time. Humor is essential. It's an essential salve and balm in my relationship. I can be in the middle of an argument and then I start to laugh and then I just get perspective and we just kind of ground ourselves back again. It's flirting, it's teasing, it's making fun of, it's that whole realm of we're not really serious and we don't take ourselves that serious.
And what happens when relationships are taking themselves very serious and they're not playing?
Look, I had a teacher who once said to me, if a couple comes to you for therapy and there is absolutely zero humor left, it is diagnostic.
Really?
Now, is it true? Nobody has proven that scientifically. But what you know is that humor, and if you listen to my podcast, if you listen to the sessions on Where Should We Begin or on How Is Work, you'll see in the middle of talking about trauma, painful event, major fight, strife, I laugh with them. I manage to see if they can see themselves, if they have a bit of distance, of perspective, if they understand sometimes the absurdity of the things that we get into, the things over which we fight, the way we do it. And even if it's just a glimmer, a smile on the side, on the corner, I know they know that I know that we know, and it creates that complicity. And it invites a new possibility.
Some people may be resisting the humor. They'd be like, no, they want to hold on to the seriousness.
Yes. Yeah. If you want to hold on to righteousness, to I am right, to victimization, to I have the view that is the only view that matters, and only my perception and my experience is the truth, then you are in a polarized system that is rigid and unyielding. humor and play is possibility.
Yes.
Possibility invites change. Change invites healing.
Yes. I want to ask you a few more questions, then I want us to play your game for a little bit. Over the last 2 years, was there anything that came up for you personally in your own inner world that you noticed, oh, there's something, like we talked about, it created a lot of pressure for people if there were things that came out. Was there anything for you that you were like, there's something I still need to work on myself or need to continue the healing journey of that came out in the last couple of years with being at home and, not doing things the way they used to be?
I will answer this in two ways. The way that I experienced the pandemic. So in the beginning, right after I left you, I went back to New York and I went in lockdown. And basically it was we suddenly I got gripped with a bit of a panic, and primarily because I thought I can't catch this thing.
Right.
Because if I catch it, I am now suddenly considered elderly. I'm past 60.
But you were 35.
Yeah. For the pandemic, it changed. Right. It suddenly shifted overnight. I became elderly. Yeah. And that meant I wasn't sure if we entered the hospital, me or Jack, that we will pass the triage.
Interesting.
And he's older than me. And I got really, really scared. I had a lot of post-traumatic stress symptoms that are very much connected to the Holocaust and to my family experience. That sense that overnight, this whole life I have built could just disappear like this. And it was irrational. I was terrified that Jack would die, to the point, you wanted to know about humor in my relationship? Yes. So we are in the middle of construction at the time, and the workers, and at the point he comes to me and he says, I asked the workers to dig a hole in the garden. I said, oh yeah, why? He said, so that when I die, you can just roll me right in.
Oh my God. Wow, talk about humor.
But I cracked up because he showed me, girl, you gripped in fear. Yeah. And I just started to laugh and I just realized, no, he's not dead. Because I was ready to stop construction. I said, we're not making this.
No one can come here within 1,000 yards of...
No. It's more like we will not survive.
No way.
When it's post-traumatic, it's trauma is the word, right? So I really was very, very, very scared. And his humor diffused it for me and just brought me back and said, we're continuing to build, we're going to live, we're going to survive. Don't worry, girl. It's like, so this was one. And it slowly, I entered into the long term of the pandemic and it dissolved. And that's when I understood, and this came out of that. I missed my friends, I missed my dinner parties, I missed intimacy. And I created a host of different group experiences, pods. I had a movie club on Zoom on 3 continents.
Oh, that's cool.
I had a book club. I had a yoga group that met 4 times a week still till now, that is over 2 continents.
Wow, that's cool.
And I had a hiking group, I had a swimming group in the summer, and then one day I said, I need to play. And I need to continue to have conversations where I learn something new. I was so freaking tired of talking about the pandemic all the time.
Sure.
And I said, I'm going to create a game, not having any idea of what this thing was going to become and what it represented. I just thought, I want to do something creative, and I want people to be able to talk about something that isn't just like, when you live 6 months like this in lockdown, you begin to have the same conversation.
Of course, yeah, of course.
So I just thought, how am I going to make couples have fun? Get energized, be curious about each other, talk about something else. And I thought we need to play because play is a container. Play gives you the possibility to take risks, to talk about things that you would otherwise not talk about because it's under the guise of play. Play allows you to ask questions that you would otherwise not ask, certainly not to your partner, because we get more shy with the people that we live with than with strangers sometimes.
Really? Interesting, yeah.
You're more daring to ask sometimes questions to strangers.
That you're never going to see again.
Or people you've just met than the person you live with for decades on end.
And that's interesting.
So play became very, very central. When you play, you still are able to lift yourself from the ground, and it means you can enter the world of imagination and where the rules are different. And every child at this moment, around the Ukrainian crisis, you can see when kids are still able to play, it is the moments when they are not in hypervigilance. So it is an essential survival skill.
Yes.
Underrated. And from that place came.
That's great.
Where should we begin?
It's one of the key. It's one of the key things in relationship and in life. Is what I'm hearing you say.
Essential.
It's essential.
It's essential.
Now, here's another side question before we get into this.
Play is problem solving. Play is creativity. Play is risk taking. Play is
spontaneity. It's all these things.
It's the other side of fear. The notion that when you heal, something utterly disappears is one component of healing. But the other part is that you need a bigger trigger to reactivate an old wound, but there is a whole new range where the wound can live